So hello and welcome to Resco webinar. My name is Martin Rosko and I work as a developer here at Resco. Today I will speak about managing data, users and teams on Resco CRM server. We will have approximately 40 minutes for today's agenda. You are mute, so you cannot ask the questions while the webinar is in progress. But you can write your question through the web meeting and we can get to them at the end of this session. So let's take a quick look on today's agenda. As you can see, this webinar will be all about managing the data and users on the Resco CRM server. In the first part of the webinar, I will show you how to put your data on the Resco CRM server. After that, I will speak about managing users and assigning them different roles and teams. I will do a lot of live demos through the course of this webinar, and for that purpose, I have registered a new organization on the Resco CRM server. This organization will represent a fictive chain of restaurants called Fit Food. Resco CRM as a whole is a solution which primary purpose is to help organizations to manage their customer relations and sales in an easy way. It's designed to improve the work efficiency of you and your employees. This is especially true for the case when your employees are required to work outside of the office, where they cannot be always online. Then the mobility and the offline access to your data is one of the key benefits you will get when working with Resco CRM product. To make the right decisions, your employees need to have instant access to your data. Not the sample data, but your real data, your customers, your products, opportunities, leads, and so on. So if you are just starting with Resco CRM, or if you are considering to use it, one of the first things that will come to your mind is, how can I put my data on the server so that my company with all its employees can start benefiting from using the Resco CRM application? Well, at this moment, there are three ways to put your data on the Resco CRM server. One way is to add records manually, one by one, through the Manage Data section of the web console. This approach is not very efficient for larger chunks of data. So it is not the best idea to migrate the data from other systems to Resco CRM server by this way. Even if it's not the best way to insert large amount of data on the server, the Manage Data section provides tools that will help you with managing your data manually. You can create, update, or delete records directly through the web console. I will show you how to do all this stuff a bit later. The second way to upload your data to Resco CRM server is to import them from CSV file. If your current system supports exporting the data to CSV file, this is the best way to put your data on the server. We have implemented few features that can help you with uploading your data on the server. The most flexible way for you to upload your data to the Resco CRM server is to use the web services we provide. This, however, requires a programming skills to implement a simple migration tool for your data. I will not cover Resco CRM data web services in this webinar, but don't be afraid, there will be a whole webinar regarding web services. Okay, as I said, for the purpose of this webinar, I have registered a new organization on the Resco CRM server. The name of this organization is Fit Food. This organization is selling healthy burgers and decided to go with Resco CRM solution. They have people in sales and marketing department who will use mobile clients to connect with Resco CRM server. I'm the owner of this fictive company and I want to have access to all the data. So I have exported Fit Food data from my old CRM system and I keep the data in a few CSV files. To be more specific, there is a file for all the products Fit Food offers. Then there I have a list of employees and a history of orders my employees have made. I want to store all this data on Resco CRM server. So how to do this? First of all, let's start with importing the meals, my products. I have decided to store the products, my meals, in a product entity. So I will log into the organization Fit Food for the first time. And as you can see, I have no items, no products, no orders, no contacts, completely blank organization. So I will click on Customize and go to the management console on the server. Now I will choose the product entity. and I would like to manage the data for this entity. So I click on the Manage Data, and as you can see, there are no records for this entity on the server. So I will import the data I have exported from my old system. For this, I will import a fitfood CSV file. Let's take a quick look on this file. As you can see, I have a few products here. You can have as many products as you wish. I have 5 columns. One is product name, then there is a description of my product, the price, the category, and the short description that I want to show to people in the list of my application. So now I import this file on the Resco CRM server. You can see the preview before actually committing the data to the server. And here you can see the names of the columns from CSV file. I have the product name, description, price, and so on. And right under the name of the column in CSV file, I have the fields of my entity. Resco CRM tries to match the field with the column name in the CSV file, but you can change it anytime. If I want, I don't have to match the product name with the product name field. As you can see, I don't have a description field on product, so I have the Resco CRM didn't set the binding. I have a price, category, and short description. For a category, I will use product type. This is option list and contains a few options you can select from a drop-down in an application. Now, if I click on OK, the data will be imported to the server. And I have an error message that tells me that I haven't set all the bindings in the import dialog, so I will click on the Ignore, and this will ignore all the fields that haven't been set, on which the mapping was not set. I will click on the OK, and another one error message will appear that will tell me that I don't have values in my option list that fit the desserts, burgers and sandwiches, salads and so. So let's go back to the product entity and modify it a bit. I will don't save the changes right now, so I click on OK. Go to the entity and edit the name and fields of the product. I will change the name of the entity to meal and modify product type field. Let's name the field category, and let's change these labels so they match the values in my category column in CSV file. Okay, I will add desserts, salads, wraps, and sides. And I will add one more option for burgers and sandwiches. I click on the Add button and change the state number of this option to 5. Okay, I will save and close the changes I have just made. And we can go back to the Manage Data and try to import the CSV file again. So let's click on a Fitfood CSV file, click OK, and ignore all the fields that were not mapped. So ignore the description and short description columns for now. And if I click OK, I have the data on the server. I have just imported them from CSV file. Now I can publish the project and take a look how it looks on the client. So this is my web client. As you can see, I have the products, my meals imported and visible through the web client. Okay, but we have a description and short description columns in our CSV file, and we want to add them to the entity too. So let's edit the meal entity once again, and let's add 2 fields for description and short description. I can add single line of text and call it short description. And set the maximum length to 100 characters. Okay. And I will add one multiple lines of text field and call it description. With no restrictions on the length of the field. Now we can save and close the entity. And I can change the field, the view. And instead of ID, I will show the short description on my list. I will save the changes, go back and edit the form. On the form, I will edit the only section that is available there and add 2 new fields. So I can modify the description and short description field through the web client or through the application. So I will add the short description and the description field. Now if I save and close the changes and publish the project, and if I go to web client, you can see that I have these new fields on the form. So let's import the data for these new fields. I will go back to the mail entity, click on the manage data, and import the file once again. Now the description column will be matched with description field, and the short description will be matched with the short description. The product name field is my primary field name, so while doing the import, if Resco CRM server finds the record with the same name, he will not insert it again. Instead, it will update the record that is already on the Resco CRM server. So if I click on the import now, you can see that 0 records have been imported and 12 records have been updated. As you can see, I have the data on the server. And if I go to the web client, you can see the short description on the list. And if I click on any of the meals, you can see the data on the form. I can make the changes through the web client or through the clients. I can add new words here, save the changes. And if I go back and click on the import and manage your data, I will see the list of all entities I have created. Here I have the meal entity and I have 12 records. So now I can click on the meal entity. I see all the data, all the records that were created or added by the users. If I click on one record, I can change the record. I can erase this word, save the changes. I can delete any record. So let's get rid of this unhealthy veggie wrap. I will delete it. And I can add a new record. Let's create a new meal. I will have my marketing people to write the description for the new beef burger. I will sell it for €9 and I will not write a short description now. Okay. So this is the way how you can manage or manipulate with the data directly on the web console. You can create, delete, or update any of the records that are stored on the Resco CRM server through the Manage Data section of the web console. Okay, let me switch back to the presentation and let's move forward. As you have seen, I had a few CSV files. One was for the products, for the meals, and I have also files, the data for my orders and order meals. So Fit Food Company has a history of orders and wants to keep it on Resco CRM server. Each order consists of general order information like ID or the total price or the order, and then it contains the list of meals that our customer ordered. I will keep general information about order in the deal entity, and meals associated with the order will be stored in deal line entity. If you click on the deal line entity on the server, I will click on server entities and click on this deal line entity. You can see two lookup fields. Each one is pointing to different entity. One is pointing to order and one is pointing to the meal entity. And this is how the meals are matched with the order. So let me import the data for the order and ordered meal. I will go to the Manage Your Data section, click on the order, and import the order data. This is the ID of the order from the previous system. I will ignore this. I have the name of the entity, status, discount, amount, and for now I will ignore the owner of the record. I can click on OK. And as you can see, my orders are now on Resco CRM server, and I'm the owner of the records. We will change this owner field at the end of this presentation, so it will store the name of the team or user who created this order in previous system. Okay, now I can click on a home icon and see the web console again, web client, and here you can see the list of orders. You can see the name of the order, the price, the status, but you cannot see the meals that were associated with this order. So let's go back and import the ordered meals for every order. I will click on the deal line. I named it ordered meal, and import the meals also associated with each order. I will link it through the name of the order and through the name of the product, in this case meal. Price will be mapped to price per unit, quantity is quantity, and the total is a total price for the order. If I click OK, I'll see that 32 records have been imported. Now if I go back to the client, you can now see all the meals associated with particular order. Okay, as a CEO of Fit Food Company, I am the only one who can change the price and category of my products. But I'm not the only employee of Fit Food. There are salesmen that sells my products, and I want them to use Resco CRM application too. Thing is that I don't want them to be able to modify the meal's description and category, but I want them to see the information about my products. So looks like it's time to create a new user role for my salesman and restrict some actions for it. So let's do this. I will click the Customize link again and go to the Management console, go to the Settings, and here is a link to roles. I click this link, and I will create a new role for my salesman. I will name it Salesman, and under this role name there's a Privileges part. You can see all the entities I have in my organization, and then there are the actions, what the user can do with the entity. He can create, read, write, delete, append to, or assign. The green circle means he can do any of the actions. As I said, I don't want my salesman to be able to create new meals or update or delete them. They can just read the new meals. If I click on Save and Close, my role is created, and I will create another role. If I'm here, it will be called Marketing and I'll make the same restrictions for this role too. Okay. I go back and click on the import and manage your data because I want to add a new users that will be able to use our application. You can do it manually one by one by clicking on a new button in a user section. You will fill the first name, last name, email, and the password for the user, and you will add the role associated with the user. But if you have a lot of users that will use this application, there is a better way to do this. You can click on Import and Manage Data and import the data to the system user entity. But there is no system user entity here. If you want to see the system user entity, you have to click on this Show System Entities button, and then you will see a lot of system entities. I want to open this user entity and import the users. As you can see, I already have this Adriana Small, John Salesman, Katie Creative users. And now I will assign those users to a particular roles. So I will click on Import, click on Fit Food Employees, and match the system user ID will be the name of my user, and position will be the role. I have just created two roles, marketing and salesman, and if I click on OK and ignore all rest of the fields, the new roles will be created for my users. As you can see, few people work on marketing, some are the salesman, I am the system administrator. If I go back and click on users, you will see that there are no mobile projects for my users. This is because I didn't associate a user with a project. So if I click on a default project and click on available for roles, I can tell that salesmen and marketing people will use this project too. I will publish the changes, and if I go back to the users, you will see that if John signs in to the application, the default project will be loaded for him. So let's see what happens when John connects with his iPad to the Fit Food organization. I will launch the Air server and try to show you my iPad screen. Right, here we are. Okay, so now this is my iPad, and I want to connect to Fit Food organization as John. John is a salesman, and I have a password 1234. If I click synchronize and delete the data, the organization will be loaded for John, my salesman. Now if I click on meals, you will see the list of meals I have imported before, but you will see that John cannot create a new meal, and if he opens any product, he will not be able to edit the data. Okay, the same applies for people from marketing, but I want them to be able to change description and short description of the meals, but I don't want them to change the price or the name of the products. So for this, I have to create a new project. So I go back to Web Console and create a new project for people from marketing. First, I will disable the default project for marketing people. and then I will create a new project for people from marketing. I will check the marketing role and click on create. If I click on create, the default template will be used to create a project. So I'll have to make a few changes to make the project look similar to my default project. Now I click on publish. Just quick check. I will click on users and see if marketing people will open the marketing project. Yes, it's true. If Katie or Kelly logs in, the marketing project will be loaded for them instead of default project. So let's make a few changes. I will delete the unnecessary items from home form. They don't need dashboards, they don't need maps, they don't need a list of orders. I will remove this. Okay, I will save and close. Publish the project. And if I log in as a Katie, you will see that a different project was loaded. This is the marketing project I just created. If I click on meals, you can see I still cannot edit the fields on the form. So let's switch back and edit the meal entity. I will click on the meal entity. I will edit the form, edit the section, add those fields I need. First of all, I have to enable the short description and description fields for this new project. And then if I'm here, I can click on the list price. And I don't want my Katie or Kelly to update the price of my product, so I disable creating and updating of this field for them. And I don't want for them to change the category too. So this will be read-only for people from marketing. I will save and close the changes. Now, if I publish the project, and log in back to as a Katie, I haven't added the description fields on the form yet. So once again, I will edit the form, edit section, and I will add short description and description for marketing. I will add short description and the description field and publish the changes. So once again, when Katie logs in, she will be now able to change the description and the short description of my desserts. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation and let's move on. So until now, we have imported data to the server, created new user roles and set permissions for them. I have showed you how to create new projects and associate it with different roles, so your employees are allowed to use and change only those things that are related to their work. Now let's move on a little further with our organization. Fit Food Company has 2 restaurants. One is located in Boston and one is in London. We also allow users to order food online. I think that head of sales in London does not have to see the orders from Boston and vice versa. We can also have meals that are different in Boston and London. So how to cope with this situation? How to solve this? There is a simple solution for this in Resco CRM. we have introduced the team entity in the latest version of Resco CRM. So you can assign a user to a team and filter the data he or she sees depending on the team he is in. In our case, we'll create two teams, one for workers in Boston and one for workers in London. So let's do this. I will click on the settings again, click on the teams, and I will create two new teams. One will be Boston team. I will be the administrator. You can write a description of the team. I will not do it right now. I will add another team, London, and I will be the administrator too. So I can save the changes. Now let's go back to the Manage Data section. Click on a team membership entity, and I will import exactly the same file that I used to import users and roles, but I will use different columns to create a relation between user and role and the team. So name of my employee will be stored in system user ID, and the team will be team ID. I can ignore the rest of the fields. I will click on ignore and import the data. Now if I go back to the teams and click on any team, you can see I have the users associated with the team. Okay, so let's open this sales project I have created. Let's see if it's available for salesman. No, it wasn't. I checked the salesman, so my salesman will be this project will be loaded for my salesman. If I save and close this and publish the changes, I can check in user sections that all my salesmen will use the sales project when they connect to my organization on the server. So I can do a few changes. On the meal entity, I will open and edit the view, and I will, not the meal entity, I want to edit the order entity, and I want to edit team orders view. I will set the filter, and I will filter only those data whose owner equals current user or user's team. So if I log in, or my salesman log in, he will see only those products or those data that are associated or created by anyone from his team or created by him. So I can click Save and Close, and I can edit the second view that will show only users' orders, not the user's team orders. So I again click on Edit Filter and add the condition owner equals current user. I save and close the changes, publish the data, and now at the beginning when I was importing the orders, I said that I will ignore the owner of the records created, so I will re-import the data again. I will import the Fitfood orders CSV, and this time I will set the owner. It will be either the team or the user who created this order. So I click on OK, and as you can see now I see that the owner of my order is either the team or the user. So let's check if John can see only the orders of his team. I will log in as John. So this is the application or the project for my salesman. They can see the meals. They are still not able to change the meals or create the new meals. And then they have the orders. And he can now, John sees only the orders from the Boston, or he can switch to just his orders that he created. So, okay, this was the last thing I wanted to show you in this webinar. I would like to highlight our upcoming conference. The name of this conference is Resco.next. It will be held in Vienna on 8th and 9th June this year. There will be a lot of sessions regarding all Resco products. One of the tracks will be dedicated to Resco CRM. So if you are interested in Resco CRM and want to meet us and ask questions personally, feel free to contact us. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you for your attention and goodbye.